All right, guys, welcome back to Relegation Battle. Premier League started now, so we got a couple of things to talk about, and we'll start with Jack. Manchester United, not the greatest start. Just talk us through your thoughts after that Palace game.
We just didn't turn up. Mate, I don't even know what to say about that. We were just so bad. I mean, I'm going to use excuses, but you can clearly see that that was our first game of the season. We were
Really?
so lackluster. We were so poor. No energy, no fight. I don't know what to say to you, John, mate. We were just shit.
Well, I mean, that sort of brings me on to put what I talk about United, and that's basically just the transfer window. You signed Van de Beek, he scored your only goal, which I guess is a positive to take from the game.
I like
But
that.
the same defensive issues are still there. I mean, do you think it's down to the board now just to give Ollie the backing?
I mean, now it is. I don't blame the board, even though we should have had our players in already. I don't blame the board for that loss because we still had the players there to beat Crystal Palace. But then you look at our right hand side. We have Fosu-Mensah, Lindelof right centre back, and Daniel James right mid. He just shouldn't be starting anymore. He is. So, but now it's time for the board to deliver Solskjaer his 2 targets that he wants.
Yeah. Well, before we go on to complete transfers, you did just beat Luton 3-0, I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, Green and Rashford both getting their campaigns underway. I think Mata scored first penalty of the season. I mean, do you think
One
that's
of
just
many.
papering over cracks for now, or
Yeah,
just
I mean, like,
yeah,
it wasn't the most entertaining
It
game.
was a dead game, bruv.
We scored the last 2 goals in like the 89th minute when they came on or something like that.
yeah,
That was just a nothing game to me, to be honest with you. Like, obviously, I wanted to win, but the performance don't really care. We just won. But
yeah.
like you said, now it's time for Solskjaer or the board to deliver the play for
Well,
Solskjaer.
so my point for Man United was I talked about a bit this week on group chat. Do you think United are losing that pull factor we often talk about now with managers?
Losing the what factor? Sorry.
The pull factor to like being attractive to players.
No, I don't still know because like we might be not having a great time at the moment, but we're still like a massive club.
Yeah,
Players want to come play for us because then like when you're young, because especially I know we haven't been any like successful that recently, but obviously when players were growing up, we were really successful. So that's when
yeah,
they grew up watching, supporting players that played for us. So they're probably most, not I say most, but probably a lot of players' dream is to play for a club like Man United, Real Madrid, something like that. So I wouldn't say we've lost that factor to attract players, but I can understand why players choose different. If someone decides to go to a club instead of us, depending on the club.
yeah. So I've got a couple of players here which I should think. Obviously, the thing is everyone's linked with Man United, aren't they? So it's
Yeah,
hard to decide what's a real, actual like. Okay, there's actually something here, like a foundation here to build upon, and there's just like the Griezmann rumors like happened for like 5 years,
yeah,
but really nothing was there.
yeah.
But like so, name of the guy is Haaland in January. There was a big talk around him. He's coming to Manchester, didn't happen, went to Dortmund. Then there was also Sanderberg, went to Sheffield instead of United. There's really strong links with United getting him, but then again went to Sheffield. And Grealish in January as well, a lot of money. I think Villa were asking for United just didn't pay. He's on a new deal now as well. Probably just in the long term so that Villa get more money out of whoever buys for him.
Yeah.
I think Gabriel as well, with 18 came out and said United didn't offer more than Arsenal in terms of wages, but he just didn't want to go there. I mean, with all these names, do you think it's down to Ole as a manager as well? I mean, he managed Haaland at one point, I believe, at Molde. Do you think Ole, I mean, I know you're Ole and you don't really want him to leave right now. You think he can take the club forward, but do you think this is something important for him to maybe improve upon, just talking players in?
Well, I went. Let me go to that. So I start with Haaland. I believe was totally the board's fault.
Okay.
Because, like you said, he's played for Oli before, and he's even said since he's been at Dortmund, I owe everything, pretty much everything, to Solskjaer. Like, he helped me so much. So I really don't think it's him. And if you watch, there was a press conference they did just before Haaland signed for Dortmund, and obviously it might, like, you don't know, but from like what he was saying, body language, facial expressions, he looked confident that Haaland deal was getting done.
Yeah.
But so that one, I think the board and the negotiation team just did Solskjaer over. Sanderberg, I wasn't too sure of those links, to be fair, so I can't say anything about him. And yeah, like you said about Jack Grealish, we had strong interest about January, February, but we just didn't want to, like, I don't blame them. We didn't want to pay 70 million, 80 million, what they were asking for. So that one I don't care. And who was the last player you said?
Gabriel,
yeah. I mean, we were, like I said, yeah, like you said, we were linked to him heavily, but I don't think, again, it was like,
you went in for him.
Yeah, but we never made the offer to the club. We just went to agree personal terms first, and obviously it was between us. Well, a couple of clubs were interested, but like talked about was Man United, Arsenal, Napoli, and then ended up going there. But you also, but then, so there's a few players there that I don't think, again, are Solskjaer's fault, because I know you haven't said it. I don't want to bring it up because it hasn't happened. I don't know if it will, but Sancho, like Solskjaer spoke to Sancho, and it looks like Sancho wants to come, but again, it's just a negotiation team and the board who's not willing to pay that 108 million yet. Hopefully they will. But so most of them aren't Solskjaer's fault. I just think it's the board and negotiation team.
Yeah, well, there's about just under 2 weeks left of the window now. You talk, you guys want a left back and a right winger. Do you think you can get them over the line, maybe even a centre back, or do you think it's not looking good for the club at the moment?
I think centre back, no, this season. It looks like now we're very advanced talks with Alex Telles. So hopefully that will be completed in the next couple of days. And then I do think we'll get a right winger. I think we still want we're still priority is Sancho. Like, you get all these journalists saying, United, he's going to stay at Dortmund. But United's known his price since the start of lockdown, pretty much.
Yeah.
And so if we were faced from the price, we would have been looking at other targets by now. But he's still on number. But see, that's the thing. I don't know. I wish, like, not a couple of weeks ago, but like a month ago, I was proper confident. But now I don't even know. But I still think we get a right winger even if we don't get Sancho. But I don't know who that is.
I mean, I think reports came out today that you guys actually, like, during the restart, offered a loan deal for BALE with option to buy, but I think it just fell through. So I think it's clear you are going for a right winger. But we went to Tottenham. Tom, I'm guessing you're very excited about this. But before we go to the transfers, let's talk about the start of the season. So not the best start against Everton, 1-0 home defeat. But then you guys came back even stronger, and then Harry Kane and him and Son put an unbelievable performance in. 4 assists for Kane, 4 goals for Son, and a goal as well for Harry Kane. I mean, how do you feel right now, like, going to your next game?
Well, at the start of the season, I'm happy. If you're not happy at the start of the season, there's something wrong with you. Like, you're excited no matter what.
Yeah.
But that Everton game, I thought, forget this. I cannot. I honestly thought he better do something or get someone in, because if not, and this keeps happening, I want him out. Because the thing I like about Mourinho gets a lot of stick, for the way he plays, but he wins you games.
Yeah. Oh, the other game I forgot to mention was the Europa League one as well.
Yeah. But if he's not winning us games, like Everton, I know they're a good team and they got new players and they are looking strong this year, but that's not the point. We have to beat a team like Everton. We got to get top 4. So this
That's a bit of a myth anyway, man.
What?
Mourinho's football. It's actually not boring when he has the right players.
Yeah, but it's the fact that his football. So Tottenham is known for, and they have always been unknown. There was like this saying back in the olden days, like forget the defense, just attack or something like that. It was really bad at one point. Like we'd outscore teams, but our defense would be so bad. We've never. I don't think we've ever had a manager that counter attacks like this, to be honest. But he wins you games. That's the thing. But yeah, after that, I was a bit disappointed. Then we went to the Europa League. Actually, yeah, we went to Europa League.
Yeah.
We weren't great in that. But then after the Europa League, I believe that's when the Gareth Bale talks. And that is when I got so happy. If you're close to me, you know that he is my favourite player, like, ever. Like, I hate Real Madrid. But for 7 years, I've been supporting him because of Gareth Bale. Like, even though he went out my club, he was still my favourite player. And I'm gassed that he's back because I never thought it'd happen. People go on about that he's past it or his stats ain't been good from the past 2 seasons. I don't really blame him since obviously his game's going to change. He's 31. He ain't going to be like how he was. Like when he was first with us, he would literally just have to. He could be quite a bit behind them, just tap it past them, and he'll beat them. He was pace and power. He's still got pace. But I think that's a brilliant signing. I think it's underrated by some people, to be honest. Mostly rivals are underrating it. And I think that is overshadowing also the Reguilon signing. I watched him last year and I thought he was brilliant. He is so good attacking. He would take any defender on and he's a wing back. And I've been calling out for a left back for so long. Davies, I can't believe Davies is still our club, let alone our main left back.
Yeah.
But all of us Tottenham fans had this in our head that we ain't getting a left back. So we were told we're not interested. But it's one of them things that you might not be planning on getting it, but when a deal rises that you can't turn down, you're gonna go for it. And I'm happy we did. Southampton first half was crap. It was shocking, like shocking. Oh my God, Lloris kept us in it so much. They had a lot of opportunities. Defense is crap. I just heard that we're in talks. Romano's just tweeted that we're in contact with Milan Skriniar.
Yeah.
I want him, but then I'm worried that we're going to get him and he partners Dyer instead of Alderweireld. Like, I can't believe we're playing Dyer and Sanchez together. I would rather Sanchez and Alderweireld. I don't like Dyer. I don't mind him, but for him to start, I just don't want it. But I'm more positive now we've got this signing and it looks like Levy ain't done. I'm expecting a striker, definitely, but we might even get a centre-back, we're in need for it. But it's such a big change because from Everton, I was like, oh, here we go again. And now I'm like, you know what, we could get top four. But I don't know, I still have my concerns about it.
Yeah, you mentioned there a bit. So Bale and Reguilon, they're done. The one thing I do want to ask about Bale is, I believe it's a 1-year deal, like loan or whatever, and it costs about 20 mil to wages and stuff like that. Do you think it's
15,
worth it?
something like
15,
that, yeah.
sorry. Do you think that's still worth it for a loan spell?
Yeah, I do, especially when he's loved by everyone. Would have him no matter what. I think the fact of why this deal is good as well. I was thinking in my head, please just do a 2-year loan deal, and it always said 1 year, and then it only announced when it came to him signing that there is an option for him to get a 2-year deal. So technically, we could even get him on a permanent after that. Whether he'll sign a 2-year deal, I don't know. We'd have to see how it goes this year. Whether Levy wants it and whether Bale wants it as well. But I'm happy it's a 2-year deal, to be honest. Because if he does get us Champions League and then he has to go again, it's a bit gutting, to be honest. But I think it is a good deal, to be honest.
Yeah, and then we've got Reguilon. So what we talked about the last few weeks with Tottenham is that backup striker. I talked a few weeks ago about Milik joining. So there's a whole striker change going on, really. So Milik and Dzeko. So Milik's on to Roma, I believe. Well, not Roma. Yeah, Roma.
Yeah,
because Morata's gone to Juve.
Yeah.
And then Dzeko's on the move as well, possibly to Juve. And then that's also opened up Suarez to Atletico Madrid and all this stuff. So
how much did Morata cost? Does anyone know?
40 million, I think. 40.
He's on a
Oh
loan
my
at the moment. He's
Yeah.
on loan at Juventus.
And then, so Skriniar, I believe, is going to cost 60 million euros as well.
Yeah, about
So
50,
if you
40.
do go for him, but the good thing is there's no Ndombele swap deal now.
No.
Group early belt.
He's staying, yeah.
Yeah. So if you do pay the 60 mil for Skriniar, no Milik as well now, who's pretty much your not prime target, but the most talked about one. Who do you see yourselves going for in the window?
What, out of them?
No, just as a striker in general. Like if Milik's not an option,
Oh,
Dzeko's not an
right.
option.
Oh, mate, honestly, if I had to put... We will get one. There's no way we're going another season without a striker. There's no way. I'm surprised we ain't got one so far, but we will. It's hard to say. I don't think we'll get Milik. They're just asking for too much. And I know he's meant to be going Roma, but apparently that's not happening now. There's something weird about that happening.
Yeah.
I just think he's too much. But if I had to put money on it, I'd probably say we'd probably go for someone like Weghorst from Wolfsburg.
Yeah.
We have been linked to him, and I wouldn't mind that because he's a typical Mourinho player. Very big. I think he's 6'6", something like that. Got a good record in the Bundesliga, 16 goals last year, or the previous year, and 17 goals last season, which I think is pretty good. It ain't like top, but that's good, especially since this Wolfsburg ain't great. They're not. I mean, they're all right, but they're not like one of the big teams.
Yeah.
So I think that would be good. I'd sell for that definitely for a backup, and we need a centre back.
So from these two Spurs games, then, because the Europa one was a bit of a weird one with 2 red cards, all just happened quite quickly. So from the 1-0 against Everton and then the 5-2 against Southampton, like which game do you take more of a what's the word? What do you take more from? Like, do you think the Southampton game showed more what you can do this season, or is it the Everton? Like, is the same frailty still there?
I mean, you could say both because our frailty is defence. I mean, we've upgraded it. We haven't seen the upgrade yet because he probably would have played tonight, to be honest, but he got postponed. He'll probably play Reguilon. Probably play. That is an upgrade. I don't care. It probably wouldn't be hard to upgrade Ben Davies, but I think we've probably got. If I had to go out and pick a left back to have out of everyone out there that was available, like Chilwell, I know Chilwell's a good player, and Tellez, I like him, and Tagliafico, all them. I probably would have picked Reguilon because I love his style of play, and I think he's so good. He's young, that's an upgrade, but it's that centre back. So the defensive frailties are there, and the thing is with Everton, it's hard to take because we're always crap in the first half. It's a weird thing. We are always crap in the first half. But Mourinho made a massive tactical mistake, and he mentioned it. He took off Dele Alli and brought on Sissoko, and there was no creativity in the second half of the Everton game. I think he realised that. And Lo Celso weren't fit at that point. He couldn't put him in, and then since Lo Celso come back, I know he didn't start in the first half, but then you see what happens in the second half. He's so underrated. He's like, I always say, Son can't get injured, Kane can't get injured, Lloris, he's another one. He can't get injured. Like, we need him so bad. So it's hard to say because, like, with Man United as well, they had a shit performance. Chelsea went that great against Brighton. It's hard to say so early on in the start of the season. We won't know until, I'd say, 10 games in how it's going to go, especially with the window still open because it looks like we're not done yet.
Yeah. Well, Jack, before we move on, United were in for Reguilon, but because of the buyback clause, you guys opted out. Spurs were fine with it because obviously we have to have that buyback option now. I mean, are you a bit gutted that you couldn't get him done and that he's going to Spurs' arrival instead?
Yeah, I was gutted because we wanted a left back, but I didn't want him with the buyback clause. I wasn't wanting.
Yeah.
I don't know if there. I don't even think there was a Man United fan that wanted him with the buyback clause. Because he'll have one good season and Real Madrid will just buy him back for 7 to 10 million more than you got him for. So it's like, especially with what we're trying to build, it's more long term,
Yeah.
and that screams short term so much. So I'm disappointed because he's a really good player, but with the two clauses, especially the buyback clause, I wasn't fussed that we didn't get him.
Yeah. All right. Well then, Ty, I know you've got a lot to talk about Chelsea, so the poor, not best display against Brighton, but he got the job done, 3-1 win. Good Reece James performance, or a good goal from him as well. And then Liverpool, it was a weird game. You guys are just sitting back, looking for Van on the counter. Ball gets played in by Mane, Christensen set red card, and then Thiago came on, and then it was quite clear it was 11 against 10. What do you just make of your start to the season so far?
Well, to be honest, Brighton, it was all right. It wasn't too bad. But then the real one I want to talk about is Liverpool, because I understand we had like 5 players missing in that, but the tactics were a bit embarrassing, to be honest. Like we're acting like we're bottom of the league, trying to stay up, yeah. Because we have players like Kante, Kovacic, Havertz, and Werner, and we're parking the bus. Like I'm expecting my team to press and try and attack, but kind of looked like we were just trying to play for a draw, and obviously that was hard to watch. But then we were holding on, and then Christensen bottled it in a big way. I wouldn't have even started him anyway. I would have started either Tomori or even Rudiger, because I think Christensen's probably our worst centre back. So, and then obviously Thiago, he came on, and then just dominated things and just controlled it really, and we didn't stand a chance.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the tactical thing. I think it's clear you guys are just sitting back looking for Van on the counter. But the thing is, for me, it feels like it was working though. Werner did get a couple of chances. You weren't conceding a goal. And to be honest, that's what we did against them twice, and it worked twice. Like we parked the bus, counted, and we won. But well, one was on penalties, but we still won twice against Liverpool. So, do you think it was just that red card that maybe just ruined things a bit for Frank in terms that maybe it could have worked one counter with Werner, and that's a win?
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. I just wanted to see us give it a bit more than we did, but I think maybe if the red card didn't happen, then anything could have happened. I also think if we had Pulisic playing, then it would have made a big difference in the game.
Yeah, I mean, the Brighton performance, like you said, it wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you just, from the first 2 games, like Tom said, it is hard to judge, but are you a bit worried still going forward now?
No, I'm not worried, because we've still got players like Ziyech and Pulisic to come into the team, and obviously Mason Mount's not playing in his best position, and then neither is Havertz, before Jack says anything. But yeah, so when we've got like Ziyech on the right, Pulisic on the left, and then Havertz playing in like that number 10 role, I think we'll be all right.
So can I just tell you something there?
Yeah.
Go for it, mate.
He says, like when Ziyech, Pulisic, and them come back, like that's going to be like frightening attack.
It's going to be so open.
No, but you've already seen that it's hard at the moment for your players to gel. Do you not think it'll be even harder once they get into the team, but it's even more players that they're not used to playing? So at the moment, you got Werner and Havertz. Yeah, they might have played a couple of games internationally, but they're still getting used to each other. Then they're getting used to playing with the people behind them. And if you had Pulisic, Ziyech stood up playing against people playing with people that they don't play before, it's going to be even harder. So you're a bit worried about that in that sense.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, but like, I don't know. I'm a little bit worried that it wouldn't work, but I just
You just think you just have too much quality that something's going to happen that you're going to win.
Yeah. So I don't think we'll win the league or anything crazy, but I think we'll get top 4 pretty easy.
Like the games where you're struggling, you'll just get a bit of quality from somewhere. Under one of the 6 players,
Yeah, exactly.
And the last thing was on Chelsea, like you talked about their Lampard tactics. You didn't particularly agree with them. I've seen a lot of Lampard out on Twitter. Obviously, Twitter is a place with no rules. But where do you just stand on that?
Do you want to know why everyone's Lampard out? Because he's not playing Hudson-Odoi, and it's just ridiculous. Like, obviously, he's one of my favourite players, but then apparently he's not given enough in training. So if he's not, then he doesn't really deserve to play. But obviously, all the keyboard warriors on Twitter, they don't really understand that. So
That's what our fans were doing last year with BALE. They were doing the exact same thing.
it's just stupid. Like,
Is it worrying though? Because Hudson-Odoi, he is so well talked about. We've all seen his quality as well, whether it's Europa League, whether it's in training. We know he can produce.
Yeah.
So the fact that Mason Mount's been playing on the wing instead of him, like, because if you say he's training badly, is that not worrying for you guys going forward? Because he is such a big talent. Bayern are interested as well. They're really ignited that. Are you just worried about losing him?
The thing is, if he goes Bayern, I feel like he's just going to be in the same position he's in at Chelsea. Because if you look at the players Bayern have, like, is he really going to get in that front three?
Probably if Koeman's doing it. Koeman ain't that great.
Yeah, but they just signed Sane.
Oh yeah, Jesus. I forgot he went there.
So if he goes to Bayern, he's just going to be in the same situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Did you get a medal at the end of it?
Yes, you do get medals, to be fair. 3 medals. And then Arsenal, we've won both games. Fulham, easy win, to be honest. I think they're going down.
They're crap. Yeah.
They put a good fight against Leeds, but I think that's more going to do with Leeds defending than anything else. Before. It's quite easy against us, so I don't want to, obviously I was a bit excited. Gabriel scoring his debut and Bang scoring that score as well. Like Tom said, he was excited. We beat West Ham, similar to Chelsea with Brighton. Wasn't a good performance at all.
No.
We couldn't get things going. It was all so slow. I think first half Xhaka was a bit too safe on the ball. He didn't run past
West Ham should have had a penalty.
I don't think they did. I think Bowen won, not pen for me. The handball claim.
The only reason why I'm saying the handball one is because of what happened to Lindelof. That's the only reason.
But I don't think the Lindelof one was a pen as well.
Yeah, but the fact that they gave it to Palace, it just makes me think that they need to be a bit more consistent with it.
They did to Doherty as well.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
But was Doherty's arm in a natural position?
He was holding the defender. It's a ball to hand move, bruv. I don't understand this rule. They should have just kept ball to hand years ago.
That was in last year, so we talked about there's no specific rules on handball, and they haven't fixed it. That's the problem. So yeah. So it's a weird one, because I Lindelof, while in my opinion, no chance as a handball. But then, like you said, if that's a handball, then I guess you have to give the Gabriel one as well. It's just the same problem as last year, not being dealt with. Yeah, we got the job done in the end. Well, of course, I'm happy, 6 points, but
I think
Newcastle the week before. Huh?
Are you top of the league?
No, we're third.
Everton.
Yeah, Everton and Leicester above us. But I think, because the week before, Newcastle completely outplayed West Ham. And if they're doing it, no disrespect to them, but we should be doing it as well if we want to really fight that top 4. So I think next week versus Liverpool is a real tester for us to see where we are, whether we get a point away from Anfield, which we haven't done in so long, or if they just batter us again. I think can't read too much into our performance at the moment, even though we are unbeaten. And then Liverpool unbeaten, we were expected that. The City, or De Bruyne, played well against Wolves last night, got the job done. 3-1, I believe.
Yeah.
Foden getting goal as well. And then Everton, Leicester, and Crystal Palace all won their first 2 games. We'll start with Everton because we've already talked about them a bit. Ancelotti, he's finally got that window to get players in. It seems like he's playing Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin, James as a front 3, if you want to call it that, with Andre Gomez, Doucouré, and Allen as a midfield 3. I mean, Gini left back is always another creative option. Are you guys worried about potential top 4 threat from them?
Not top 4. I'd say 6 to 8. Not top 4 though, just because
I think
Yeah.
they'll get top
Their
6.
defense and it's just like who do they play?
You think
Who
they'll
did they
get
play on
top
the weekend?
6?
No
Spurs.
push.
No, not you. Tyree said
Yeah, I
they'll
think-
get top 6.
I think they'll get 6th.
So who ain't getting 6th?
Man United.
We
mean,
will
it's
get
just-
top 6.
I mean,
We
if Man
will get
United-
top 6.
If United don't sign anyone, then and if they keep playing how they played the other day, then anything's possible. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
If they sign someone, then like a Sancho, then I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, so Jack, you're talking about that Everton defence.
Yeah.
You think that's the weak point for them?
It always has been for them. Well, I'm not saying like their attacks like. Well, now they got hammered. It's really good, but last season, especially under Ancelotti, they played really well the game. Then the next game, their defense just bowled it. I'm not saying the attack's world class, but they never had a problem really scoring goals. And they haven't done anything this window. They brought Allen in, which is a brilliant signing, just to sit in front of them. But they're like centre back. They just haven't changed it. And Keane and Yerry Mina are just calamity. Just mistakes everywhere.
Not just that. Pickford is involved in the defence.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
crap.
and the keeper. Yeah.
He's actually shocking.
Yeah, I think I want to say West Brom's first goal. He just didn't do very well. Then the free kick, I think it was a good.
Yeah,
one,
he ain't stopping
yeah.
the free kick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and then Leicester, I think we all, after the way they ended last season, didn't expect them to get off to the start they did. They beat West Brom 3-0 the first week, and then they just beat, what is it?
Burnley.
Yeah, Burnley.
Burnley, that's it. They did that quite comfortably as well. So, do you think they're in the same position as last year where they could push that top 6 spot again, but they just need to get that consistency they didn't have it in the last season?
Again, I think you don't get carried away because they played a poor West Brom side and a Burnley side without their 2 centre backs. Burnley didn't have Tarkowski or Ben Mee, and they're a big part to how Burnley played defensively. So I'm not saying Leicester aren't going to have a good season. I'm just saying it's just like any team. You can't judge them just for the first 1 or 2 games.
Yeah.
But saying that, they still do have a good squad. Unless they still haven't had they haven't had Johnny Evans back yet.
The thing is, they've got to play Europa League this season as well, so that might hinder them a bit.
They don't have a big squad either.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm not saying but you see, Wolves last season, Wolves played the same team Thursday, Sunday every week.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but
they don't have a big squad either.
With the way they play Wolves, I feel like that helps them. With the way they're set up, Leicester try
so they don't use that much.
Leicester try to press. That is Brendan Rodgers' style, so that will affect them a lot more.
And then we left off at Crystal Palace. So they beat Southampton first week 1-0, and then they beat United 3-1. Jack, I guess, you're the best person asked watching it firsthand. Wilfried Zaha, he came out and made a strong statement saying he's not surprised by how well they've done because he's confident in their play. They signed Eze from QPR, and they believe they're looking at Ben Rama as well, which I think was a big signing from them. Do you think Palace this year can push on a bit more, or is the same problem as the last year team, their defensive depth?
I mean, they still have a good, exciting squad, and they still don't have Gary Cahill back, don't have Van Aanholt back.
They're set up better than people actually think they are. They're quite set up pretty strong, considering their defence. I think they need to work on their defence, though. I'm not saying they're not strong in their defence, but what I'm saying is, if you got better players, if they got better players than they already do, just imagine how good it would be. It'd be even more compact. I just feel like Wolves, Everton, and the top 6 are just going to be too much for them to push into Europe. But they are in the right direction. They are progressing.
And the last thing was, so we've seen West Brom lose 2-2, Fulham lose both games. So not a good start for them. But we've seen Leeds. They beat Liverpool. No, they lost to Liverpool 4-3, and then they beat Fulham 4-3. Defensively, it doesn't look great for them, conceding 7 goals. But then they've also scored 7 as well. So how do you think they started this season?
So overhyped. Oh my gosh.
Okay,
People
like,
are hyping them.
I would.
Worried
Because of what they've
about them.
done, you wouldn't. I don't. You wouldn't expect them to beat Liverpool anyway.
Yeah.
And winning a championship, you would probably expect them to beat Fulham. You know, so they've done what probably people expected them to do.
Yeah.
You know, you say Thursday there, you're getting overhyped, but they played well in the championship, which they did. But what did you expect? Fucking them when 5-0 beat Liverpool. They scored 3 goals at Anfield. That's very rare.
That defense is going to be a big worry for them, I think. Obviously, they're not going to go
I
down.
know it,
But
it is, yeah, it is. But
Who are we talking about?
Leeds,
Leeds.
Yeah, they won't
they
go
will
down
tighten
there.
up though.
I mean, Koch is
Yeah,
a
but-
new signing as well. So you've got to get him from Sterling.
aren't they getting thingy? What's his name? Dan James.
We don't
know
know
that's
yet.
happening anymore. But you never know.
They're also signing, well, they look like signing Diego Llorente from Real Sociedad.
Yeah, centre half.
Yeah, I think he's quite young as well. So it could be like
I think they'll
a
be
good
fine.
improvement. But like I said, are you guys worried about them when you play them, or do you think the way they started maybe is just a bit of a
I think sometimes you
you,
can be worried.
yeah,
teams
you
that
got to
come
be
up
worried
against.
about every team, to be honest.
yeah,
Especially in the Prem.
Even I know we said Fulham and West Brom, we should be beating them, but you can't just go into it thinking we're going to smash them because they will do you.
Yeah.
Leeds especially, because Leeds are much better than them.
The league is so competitive this year.
Yeah, I mean it is always, but I think this is one of the best years because the transfers coming in. You always see like big transfers going to Spain, and
Yeah.
you get a bit of France from PSG. They're all coming to England. Like even Tottenham are getting big signings. Like I think this year's I know we said it last year, and we were disappointed because Liverpool just ran away with it. I honestly think this year is going to be so good, the Prem, if it carries on.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think the way it started as well, a little bit of shocks, but like the big signs that we talked about, they've all like started really well. So hopefully that continues as we go through the season. But the one issue, coronavirus, is still around.
Yeah.
Spurs' game today is called off because Leyton Orient players did get tested positive.
18 players.
Yeah, very worrying.
18 players.
I'm not sure how they're really.
It's because they don't get tested. They don't have the money in that league.
Yeah. But then West Ham today, Moyes, Bowen, and one other player were all tested positive. Moyes wasn't at their game tonight as well. So, and then obviously, just in general as well, Boris came out with this new restriction in place, like no pubs after 10 p.m., no more than groups of 6, indoor sports as well, they included. Are you guys worried that it's going to start another lockdown as we're going to stop again?
Yeah.
And I believe the Premier League did say if it stops again, that's the league cancelled.
I will be gutted. I want to see Bale play. If I don't get to see Bale play, I'll be so pissed off. I'm not going to lie. Oh, without football, man, it's so.
But do you think it should be cancelled as well?
I think it should be.
It is a big risk.
I mean, if it goes up again,
how bad it gets.
Yeah, if it goes to where it was, then I think it has to be cancelled. Yeah,
they've got no choice.
Yeah, because although it's their job and it's like people love to watch it, it's just unfair a little bit.
Yeah.
Like obviously, again, I know I just said it's their job, but you get other people losing their jobs, furloughed, people getting redundant because of this whole coronavirus, and they're there getting tested 2 to 3 times a week, staying at home, going to training, playing games, and still earning. And obviously, it's not their fault; they're earning big money, but they're earning all this money. They're doing their bit to help, but they're earning all this money while people get redundant. they're a little bit unfair. But yeah, if it gets to how bad it was like March time, then it has to stop again.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. The initial plan was October. Fans start coming back for home games as well. That's been cancelled pretty much, and I think with no fans, non-league won't start up again as well, like the National League.
Yeah,
so I mean, that's
some
huge for
clubs
them
are
fans.
yeah.
So without them, a few more clubs could be going to administration. Not even just non-league, just even like Champions League, League One, League Two. What was I going to say? I can't remember what I was going to say, but so I believe, if I'm correct, I did hear somewhere the Premier League would just cancel it all again.
Yeah, I heard
Like just
that,
the whole league, no project restart, nothing like that. Do you think that's the right call as well? Not to risk it like there was before.
Yeah, probably, because we're already behind as it is on the schedule, as we usually are. And a lockdown will consist of, 2-3 months? And we've only just started. You might as well cancel it. They were probably close to cancelling it last year, but it was probably just because of the fact we were just so close to finishing it. We just got the chance to just get it over the line.
Yeah.
So I think it probably is right to just cancel
it.
Yeah. Here was my point I remembered. So you probably remember when Project Restart did happen, there were constant testing, and then I think after the first round, there was always no positive or negative for a few times.
Yeah.
Then now we've restarted. There's 3 or 4 now. The West Ham ones has happened. That's big, and all the Arsenal players came back negative. We played in the weekend. Do you just think? Yeah, I think it's going to happen now.
One of the dumb things was the international break. Like sending all these players abroad and stuff. Like obviously, people are bound to get it. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's gonna happen. I don't want it to. I just got this weird feeling that we're all excited for it. Bale's come back for me, and it's just gonna be a kick in the teeth.
Yeah. Well, we'll move away from the Prem. So, talk a bit about it earlier. Bayern Munich, 8-0, 9-0 maybe. Opening day win against Schalke. Yeah, Serge Gnabry getting a hat-trick. Lewandowski with a bundle assist. Sane played amazing. Even if you saw the extended highlights, they just complete domination. They did not stop attacking. Kimmich was unbelievable again. Do you think if the season does end, that they can retain the Champions League?
Yeah. Whether they will, I don't know, but they definitely can.
Because they're strengthening as well. I mean, Alphonso Davies didn't play because Lucas Hernandez is just that good.
Well, they haven't lost anyone really. I've only lost Thiago, but quite a few games this season. He was injured. And Coutinho didn't play that many games, especially with the Miller was in.
So they basically replaced him with Sane anyway.
Yeah, actually they lost Perisic, who was all right for them to be fair, but
I think they're getting him back. I think they might be getting him back.
I don't think so, but they might do. But I got Sane, and again, I know it's only that league; they would it every year, but they just look frightening again.
Yeah. Then probably the biggest talking point from the other leagues in the opening weekends, for them was PSG. So they lost the opening game against Lens, who were a newly promoted side as well. And then they lost against Marseille. So this was the big game, the Classique as they call it. So they're just losing the game, and right at the end they reached boiling point. The Neymar claimed that Alvaro, the Marseille centre back, racially abused him. This just started a whole
scrap
brawl, scrap, whatever you call it. So Kazawa started kicking, punching people. He got sent off. Neymar was sent off. Di Maria is under investigation as well for spitting or punching a player. I think there's another PSG player got sent off as well. I just can't remember who. Then Marseille striker was sent off. I can't remember who it was, but I think it was Benedetto. He got sent off. I think Amarvi or one other player got sent off.
Yeah, Amarvi did.
Yeah. So that is huge problem. Marseille didn't end up winning.
Who was the one that was racist?
Alvaro, the centre
Yeah,
back.
that's it.
I mean, he's come out and claimed he hasn't, and he took a picture with all the black Marseille players trying to prove that he's not racist, which is a bit suspect in my opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
But
seems desperate. Not gonna lie, but
yeah, it seems
that's-
desperate. But then
I
just the
don't
way
know how true
Neymar's
this
really
is.
come out, really like on Twitter, social media, all guns blazing, saying, "Yeah, you are racist." He went on
yeah,
Alvaro's own Instagram, I believe, and commented, "You are racist. Stop trying to hide, almost stop trying to hide from it. Just accept that." Like he said, Alvaro started claiming he's just a sore loser because he obviously is a big game for them.
Yeah.
But Neymar said, "I don't care about losing. I accept that, but I accept racism." Like even 433 Bleacher Report, these guys are posting about it into a public statement on it. I mean, I'm sure it's still under investigation, but what do you guys make of the whole situation there?
Well, I saw on Twitter that apparently some expert lip readers apparently figured out that he called like one of the words he called Neymar a monkey. So whether that's, I don't know how true that is, but that's
Expert lip
apparently what's
readers.
going on. But obviously, I don't know. There was apparently more that was said to
Yeah.
Neymar. We just at the moment don't know what it is, but it's so poor from if it's true, which like you said, Neymar, I don't think would do that if he was like just being a sore loser.
Yeah.
So again, if it is, then that's so poor. It needs to stop. Something needs to happen.
I mean, there were calls for players like this just to be. I mean, we normally see for players racist, will be banned for like 5 games and just a fine, really, and not in that much of their wages. Do you think that players should just be banned for a whole season?
yeah,
Yeah, I see
it's
just
getting
banned.
to the point where it's just getting sick and tired of it now. It's not like we're new to it and you think, oh, they'll learn. They're not learning.
Yeah.
So you'll make them learn. Do something that is so, you might say it's a bit over the top, but then you might need to be a bit over the top to make them learn. 5 games, what is that? Oh, I'll sit out 5 games, I'll be back. Season, it's their career. They don't have too long in this career. And it will show intent to stop them. You don't see it as much with players, though. I think the problem is fans. That's a harder one to tackle. But
Yeah,
then if the
Like-
players are doing it, that's just going to encourage the fans to do it.
Exactly. If you see your starting player racially abuse someone, your fans
Yeah,
might think it's okay.
It's just going to encourage it. It's ridiculous. Especially since what I don't get, he has black players on his team. Imagine, I
Yeah.
can't. Surely one of them must have heard it. You'd expect them to go nuts. What's your problem? I just can't believe it.
I suppose they.
I don't know if it's captain, like you said, if the team is heard it, surely they come back in as well. But I guess it'll be only he really knows. But then stay on this topic. So the two other things in recent weeks. So this weekend, the players to not take the knee before the game. I think Les Ferdinand one Morgan said, yeah, I think just one of the things that time's run out, not run out, but like it just reached its course, like the energy is tapping, that eventually stopped. It's just run its course, which was his excuse. Michael Duran said that it's not really a decision to make. It should be the club deciding, all right, let's just run its course, let's just now. And not just one player. I mean, we've seen the Premier League carry on doing it. I mean, do you guys think that it should carry on to send a message, or just reach its course and the stickers on the kit is enough?
It's hard.
safely.
Yeah. I mean, they should, for first, they should still be doing it. You should not be doing it. Stop doing it until, like, whoever is in charge of it says, okay, that's enough now. I get what you're saying, that you can sort of, overuse something to the extent people will stop doing the shit. I get that. But then you only do that once they've told you. You're on, in my eyes, they're under obligation to do it no matter what. So I was a bit surprised they stopped. But it's hard to say when they should stop because we're not really, I don't know, it's hard. we've never really gone through this. We've only actually started realising that we have to do something about it, get out there. So it's like the coronavirus in a way. You don't know what's going to happen. So it's hard to we have to do it for. I think we need to do more things. Not like
Yeah.
instead of like longing this out, do extra things. Think of something else to do. Keep doing more new things.
I mean, the other thing, like we briefly touched on Michael Richards there. So he's like a official pundit, if you want to call it that. And then Alex Scott and Clinton Morrison, they've also like been propelled, if you want to call it that. The old sort of Saturday crew, somehow apart from Paul Merson, basically being replaced as well. And then so I mean, we talk about a lot what weird plays with no rules, pretty much. So much criticism towards Richards, Alex Scott, Morrison, just because, in my opinion, they're better at their jobs than the older workers. Because in my opinion, Sakazade, yeah, it was fun to watch. But let's be honest, they were not good at their jobs. Like how I think Merson's kept his job is beyond me. But like when I watch or listen to Michael Richards talk about football, he genuinely knows so much, not just about the game itself, but players coming through. And half the time, the old people in soccer side couldn't say players' names if it was more than two syllables.
Yeah.
So like, it's unbelievable, in my opinion, that people generally think that the whole Black Lives Matter movement is the reason for this change. Alex Scott, she might have been a women's footballer, but like, she was part of the team that won the domestic treble. She played for England at the time, and she's proved that
She's a very good
on Sky
pundit.
Sports. And yeah, exactly, on BBC she's done as well.
Yeah,
BT as well, I believe. She's proved that she is a good pundit. So do you guys think that, well, my first question is, how do you guys just see this? Well, Michael Richards talked about a lot yesterday. Do you think he dealt with it in the right way? Just proving his point, like he deserves that job.
I think he said about the Alex, and you see that a lot. It's our sport, especially football, is in a male-dominated sport, which it probably is more male, but you're seeing an increase in women. I mean, we had broadcasted live of Women's Football League last year. So it's on the increase for Camzo. If they don't, I don't see why they wouldn't like it, to be honest, because it just brings more attention to our sport. It grows the sport. So I think Michael Richards is a very good pundit. And about the social, you know, the what is it, Gillette Soccer Saturday thing or whatever it is. You know what, I think I do like him, but it's got more about, I think, you know what, it's probably a good idea to get to a point where you need something fresh. And getting players like Michael Richards, they really know the game because the changed so much. Especially in these last 10 years, it is so much. I just think having games developing, you need to develop the commentators and pundits and have a more modern day pundits. I know the game, more modern game now. I think it's a good idea.
Enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
Like if you're watching the football on a Saturday, Sunday, or whatever, and you're listening to half-time commentary, like boring old, fresh air, you're just so enjoyable to watch. It's like
Just my laptop bugged up for a second. The other question I want to ask is Twitter. I mean, we can't really control what happens on Twitter. But Twitter is like 10 times more toxic than anything else. And that's where like the main choice is what made us like about that, or was it just you do something just stop all this?
Like, obviously being phrased, but this maybe 5-7 years proper cover a terrible thing. They still haven't anything to do. Like, inside, but
Not on the same page to do like the Ryan Brewster speculation, if you want to call it that. They're not really agreeing with it. Or Chris Palace
Sports are not as they're not as credible as they used to be, man.
Yeah, I mean, like actually, they are making these changes with Michael Richards and it's not coming in, but
yeah,
like Tom said, you think the more needs to be done in terms of Black Lives Matter. Sky Sports need to do more as well to stop this like wave of hate crime coming in, because they haven't really spoken about what Michael Richards had to face or Alex Scott had to face, and then these like Matt Letizia, he had to go at Sky Sports when he found out he was getting replaced. And Charlie Nicholas was the same. I mean, are Sky Sports really doing enough to help their employees like deal with whatever they're doing? Like they
don't take enough responsibility. Like I see after, well, I know it's not about like anything like that, but I've seen like so many when you're watching football and one of the pundits make a comment about, I don't know, for something like, I think it was Gary Neville made a comment about the football, like Man United proper being bad. I know it's going off topic, but then Sky go, oh, Gary's is like comments are his own views, not the views of Sky Sports. And I feel like when Michael Richards was speaking out the other day, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah.
I think if he said what he wanted to say, then I feel like Sky may have been like, those views only reflect Michael Richards. So I feel like they need to be like, we're a family, we're a team, we support you, anything you say. So I feel like he held back yesterday. He said it like the most filtered way he could have, instead of going like, look, this is what I've been through, this is shit I've had to face, and this is why I should be here right now. But like, yeah, they just don't do enough for the workers, for the commentators.
Yeah, he sort of just said, yeah, I've had to work really hard, but he only like go into specifics probably because of that reason. Yeah, I think the Gary Neville thing you talk about, I don't know if it's like United or just like his political view that you started talking about, because it was about racism. Yeah, but then we saw something interesting about Patrice Evra talking about David Moyes' door and Zaha, and they were instantly ready, like not instantly, but they definitely took the time to say, oh yeah, this isn't something Sky Sports, so this is just Patrice's view. We won't talk about that too much because we don't really know what happened. It's just the same old rumours, Zaha and Moyes' door, but yeah, I think it's a good point that you make. Yeah, hopefully we do see some improvements, but something done there. Yeah, that's already for this week, because it's always been a bit of a long one. But I think because we didn't really talk about anything last week, that was always going to happen. Yeah, week in the football ahead. Don't really know if anything's going to happen due to Corona just yet, but stay tuned. More Europa League qualification with Tom, I'm sure. EFL Cup action for everyone else as well. But yeah, till next week. Have a nice.
Before I think it's time to talk. I think it's time we sit down and just say what's going on. I think we should say